Important notice: the video will start in 20 seconds. We are currently redoing our videos to reflect our new enhanced user interface and feature set. This video will show you our pre-existing amazing feature set as seen in our old user interface format and may appear dated. We apologize for the inconvenience. To see our new Web 2.0 user interface and see some example look and feels, please see our new look, web design, and multilingual overview video. Your video will start now.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through and show you where your customer service people will spend most of their time. So if you click on the link that says distributor, you can see all the different ways that we can search for things in here. ID number, paperwork, username, name, phone, email, credit card, zip code. So this is how you're going to find a member within your database. And you can also search by date range, from what date to what date. One of the interesting functions here is there's the ability to export the results of any query you've pulled from this tool. And B, there's also the ability to put a message to the members lounge of particular people or particular groups of people. So the first thing I'll show you is that. Let's go down to the bottom and let's put in sign up date from 2006, June 1st to 2006, June 26th. And then click search. Now it's going to bring back a list of everyone who joined between June 1st and June 26th. Now this is a system that I use to give away the free auto prospecting system. So you can see that there's actually a number of people in here. If you scroll a bit to the right, if you can't see it, you'll actually see that there's this thing called add to messaging. If that box is checked and you scroll to the very bottom, you will see a place where you could actually put a message into the members lounge of anybody who's checked. We won't go ahead and do that, but I just wanted to point that feature out to you. So let's go up there and let's just click on the very top one, 11171, which says matrix. So ID number 11171. We're going to bring that one up, which will actually take us into where we can learn all the details about this particular user. This is where you can see and do everything about a distributor. So you'll see that you've got their name and you've got this thing called paperwork ID. Paperwork ID is just simply if you're trying to match to an offline system as well. So if your company brings in applications by fax or mail in addition to online, paperwork ID is just a way to link the physical piece of paper that the person used to sign up to the computer record so you can find it either way all the time. So if you scroll down a bit, you'll see contact details, you'll see cell phones, you'll see all the general information about the person. You'll then see placement details. So you can actually see where this person is placed and under who and how that all fits together. And you'll see down address maintenance. The system actually allows an unlimited number of addresses to be stored within the system. The way it works is it works with a little bit of a swap function. Let's just click on the Go to Address Maintenance button. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so here you can see the actual address maintenance function. And what this is where you would add more addresses. Now for the US, we have something that'll populate a bunch of the information for an address automatically. So all you have to do is put in a zip code and it'll bring back you a bunch of stuff. So you can have unlimited number of addresses, and then the way it works is you swap them around. So if somebody wants to change their mailing address, they would just simply add another address and then swap it with the mailing address. If they wanted to change their shipping address, same thing. They'd add another address, swap it with the shipping address. This can be pretty handy for people who like to use their auto ships for prospecting, because they can put whoever they want their next auto ship to go to in, swap it for their shipping address. Their next auto ship will go to that person. Then all they have to do is come and swap it back. And the reason we do the swap function is people are notoriously bad at getting their addresses correct, strangely enough. So once they've got it in the system and it's correct, we try to preserve that. So all they do is swap it back to the correct one instead of making mistakes re-entering it. So you can close that window. And then we're back to the window below. You scroll down a little further, you're going to see system dates. This is where you can track all kinds of dates within the system. A little bit lower, again, as I said before, you've got your placement information, so you can see that the username this guy is Matrix. If you click on the little status link, you can see that there's a number of different statuses, and all those are tied to different actions within the system. Active means that they're considered in good standing and they've paid their bill and everything is good, or in the case of a free sign-up, everybody becomes active. Suspended, terminated sign-up, a lot of that's fairly self-explanatory. You'll then see sponsor. Now, sponsor tells you who sponsored this guy, and if you look below that, placement says where is this person positioned within your teams. So obviously, everybody's always positioned somewhere. Even in a unilevel, you're positioned underneath somebody else, right? In a matrix, you might be in leg 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 of somebody else. So all that placement means is the username that this particular member's under, and side means which leg. So if you're in a binary, there's only 2 legs, so side 1 and 2. If you're in a matrix, it depends on how you've configured your matrix. A little bit lower, you'll see distributor history. Here's a place where you can actually keep notes about distributors. So as the phone call comes in, or as the email comes in, or whatever other method you're using for supporting your members, and they ask you a question and you answer the question or whatever, you take notes on it. So your CSRs take notes, which then accumulate right here in this user's record. So you won't have any of the typical problems where they phone one person, don't get the answer they like, so then phone another one, and just keep phoning until they get what they like. I mean, I've experienced that within Melaleuca, where there's 1,400 CSRs, but they have no information tracking. So if the first guy doesn't tell you what you want to hear, just phone again. And of course, that's a stress on resources, right? Better if you can have a system that tracks the information so that you don't have this problem. So we just have a way that every order or every piece of information that comes in, you have the ability to track it in the system. So if they phone back, of course, the first step the new guy is going to do is open this record and see that they just talked to Fred 5 minutes ago and say, hang on, you talked to Fred. Fred said no. What are you doing? Okay, so it becomes a much more efficient customer support method when you track all the information. Going a little bit lower than that, you'll see system log. This is where anything that happens automatically in the system or anything that the distributor does themselves through the members lounge will stamp notes here. So you can see that addresses were created. You'll see that certain dates were changed. Auto payment was canceled. There was a debit transfer from one person to another. Anything the system does automatically stamps a note here, so that if anyone ever calls you to say, hey, $50 disappeared from my personal account, you'll be able to say, well, yeah, that's because on the 15th of June at 5:30 in the evening, you transferred it to the user MLM software. Okay, so you're never going to be confused as to what's going on in the system, and the members won't be able to play game with you. Let's scroll all the way back up to the top. And let's click on Account. Here is this member's personal account. In our deluxe system, we have a personal account system. What personal account means is whenever they earn commissions, the commissions are going to go into their personal account, and then they can set up the rules for their personal account. Okay, so they may decide that they don't want to get paid their money until they have $1,000. You know, because maybe they're in Japan and it costs a lot of money to cash a check, or they want to save up until it's worth getting a wire transfer and you charge $50 for wire transfers. They can actually say, don't pay me until I have X amount of dollars. They can also say, pay me everything I have every single pay period because that's the way I want it. They can also say, pay me everything but leave enough behind for my next auto ship. So there's a whole bunch of options on how they can get paid from their personal account, and it's settable at the members lounge. The reason the personal account becomes important is we have the ability to do intermember transfers and gift certificates. So this solves the problem for the company of companies are constantly fighting with Visa and MasterCard. You get a chargeback, you have problems. You have all kinds of things that create trouble for your company when it comes to the use of credit cards. Because we have intermember transfers and gift certificates, it allows people to join without the use of a credit card. So say your big leader just earned $1,000 and he wants to sign up his 2 friends and their sign-up's $200 each. He can actually send them a gift certificate from his personal account, collect the money from them into his pocket, and they end up joining your company off of his earnings without you losing the Visa discount fee and without there being any capability of chargeback whatsoever. You, the company, can service charge those transactions. So you can actually put a $1 service charge or a $5 service charge for each gift certificate or member transfer, which actually puts more money back into your company. So if you are running a very aggressive compensation plan and you're sharing with people that you're paying out 70% or something very large, you can actually be bringing money back in but still having a high payout. So it can be a really, really effective system. Let's click the next link down that says Account UPD. This is just simply where you can put money in and take money away from that member's personal account. So if you have to do a manual transaction for any reason, this is where you would do it. So let's say they won a contest and you have to put $500 into their account. Here is where you would put that money into their personal account. Or let's say they've been, you have to give them a penalty for doing something wrong. Well, this is where you would take it away. So let's click the next link down that says Payment Types. This is where you can set up what kind of payment types this particular member would have on file. Now remember, the member can also set these up on their own, but our system is set up so that you can operate it in an online only or an offline method as well. So if you're doing things manually through a support center, our system can handle that for you. So it can be done both ways. So here, if you wanted to add a credit card, for example, if you click on the Please Choose and click Credit Card, you'll see that it brings up all of the stuff necessary to add a credit card to the system. Then this credit card could be used for auto ship. It could be used for a lot of different things. Let's go to the next link down that says Transfer History. Here's just simply the history of every time this guy has transferred money from one member to another. So you can see that he transferred $50 to MLM software. He transferred that on this date at this time. So every time they do a transfer, you do have a place as an administrator to go in and see just what they're doing with their money. So in case they ever come to you and say, well, hey, my money's disappearing, you're able to just say, well, it's not disappearing. You're transferring it all over the place. They, of course, can see it in their members lounge as well. Next link down is auto ship. Let's click on that. This is where admin can set up this particular fellow's auto ship. Most of what you're seeing here, the member can control themselves. But from the admin view, there's very often a little extra information. For example, on this view, you'll see that we have the ability to add an item to the auto ship. That's fine. You also have the ability to have the method of payment for the auto ships. Now, I don't have any methods of payment turned on in this system. Otherwise, you'd see a list underneath auto ship pay method of the different ways that you allow the member to pay. Now, with all your payment methods and stuff, that's actually configurable by you within the system, which I'll show you in a little bit. But the other thing that you have the ability to do is you can charge people a little extra money if they cancel their auto ship. This is a famous tactic in Japan. They say, well, no problem. You want to cancel your auto ship, that's fine, but we're going to charge you $30 to reinstate it. An interesting concept, because what that tends to do is make people think, well, if it's going to cost me $30 to restart it, maybe I should just leave it going until I really know I need to cancel it. So you don't get as much skipping a month because they don't have much activity stuff going on. You can add a special shipping fee, and you can add all of these particular fees once or permanent, or you can have them go with the default settings. So if you set it for once, then once he has an auto ship restart fee. Once he might have an extra shipping fee. Maybe he's shipping it to some weird place that costs you a lot of money. So you put the order in a little more expensive, or maybe he wants it COD and you want to charge extra for that. Here's where you can sort of override a bunch of the settings. Scroll down a little bit more, you'll see a Skip Next Auto Ship button. This is because the reality of network marketing is people always call up and say, oh, I'm a little tight on cash this month, can you just skip this month? Well, in our system, you push a button, that happens. And then, of course, what always happens is right after they've told you to skip it, they find that big leader, right? And they phone you back, oh, my God, I told you to skip my auto ship, but if you skip my auto ship, I'm not going to get paid, so please, 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 please put an auto ship through for me. Okay, push the button, it happens, okay? So it's made to be very user-friendly, very easy to use, and very efficient for your customer support representatives to do things. You also can set what day their auto ship's processed on. So if you want to do a daily auto ship, our system can handle that. You want to do a weekly auto ship, system can handle that. So you can actually process all of your auto ships every day, every week, every month, whatever you want to do. And then you'll also see that they have the ability, or you have the ability, to add addresses and change around your addresses at the auto ship level as well. Then at the very bottom, you'll see that there's actually a special place for notes relating to auto ship. Any notes you put in this section will show up in this section and the other section, but only the ones towards auto ship will show up here exclusive. Scroll to the top and let's go down to invoices. Invoices is just a list of all of the invoices that this person has ever done with your company. So everything that they've ever purchased within the company you'll see listed here. If you're in a triple center binary type of a scenario, that'll actually show what amount of volume is in each center and all this kind of thing. And also the refund button. If you're connected to a credit card gateway, any purchases that came in by credit card will have the ability to be refunded with the click of a button by the credit card gateway. If their money didn't come in by the credit card gateway, then the option to refund by credit card won't exist because most gateways don't allow you to refund to a card that never had a charge on it. If you click on order number 10244, you'll see that we can actually drill down and get even more information about what this order was. If you click on the printable version, that'll actually bring you up a blank type invoice so that you could actually reprint it for this person. So the purpose of the printable invoice is if someone ever wants a reprint mailed to them, you can pop it open and it'll give you something that's easy to print without all the extra graphics and stuff on it. Redistribute volume, that is really only for a binary, and it's only really for a binary that has 3 centers. So if you have a 3-center binary and somebody places an order and tells you to put all the volume in center 2, that's great, but then when they realize that they already had a maxed leg on center 2 and they really want it in center 3, they may come back and ask you to change it. We give the ability in our binary software to change multi-center volume. This, of course, does not show to the member. This is only an admin function. Let's go down to Summary. Left-hand menu down to Summary right under Invoices. This is just a list where you can see this particular member's personally sponsored distributors and personally sponsored customers. Okay, nothing fancy, just a bunch of information for them. One link below that is Genealogy. Let's click on that. Genealogy is a once-a-day updated report that shows everybody in this person's business and where they're positioned. So if they wanted to, they could effectively build a downline map. It shows a little bit of extra information. And in the case of the admin only, if you scroll to the far right-hand side, it'll actually show you what volume each person in this particular downline purchased for the last 5 periods. Okay. It also shows what volume they have on auto ship and what volume they've currently purchased. So you see current volume, you see 5 periods back, and you see auto ship. So it's a very handy tool when you're trying to analyze someone who's telling you they didn't get paid right or whatever. Go down one more link, Viewer Sponsor. This is where we get into the graphical viewers of our system. So in this case, this is an actual sponsor-driven viewer. So this would be showing you only the people you personally sponsored, only the people they personally sponsored. So flow from above wouldn't show. The next link down is Viewer Binary. If you were running a binary, this is how the actual binary viewer would look. Click on Viewer Unilevel. So this is where you'd see all of your members in the matrix. So you'd see your front line, and then you'd click to go down a little deeper. And because this doesn't have a lot of people in it, this test system, there's no little plus signs. But normally there's a plus sign. You click on it, and then you're going to see the people underneath them. And it'll just expand out. One is Email Downline. We'll skip OMSIS for now. I'll come back. That's actually an add-on to our software that's a full-blown auto-prospecting system that if you want to actually sell that through your organization, we can work out a licensing deal with it. So let's click on Email Downline. Okay, this is just an email downline function, so everybody can email down to everyone in their group. It's optional. If you don't want it turned on, we can turn it off. It is real time. If you want it non-real time, we can set that up as well so that you have to approve the emails before they actually go out. So it's fairly safe because of the fact that we can turn it on and off like that. Well, you do have to be careful with it. Remember that in your policies and procedures, you should be telling people that there is the ability for upline members to email them and that by signing up to your company, you're agreeing to it. And also remember, in the members lounge, people have the ability to turn these emails off. So I can go into my members lounge and say, I don't want any email blasts from my upline. I can turn them off. Okay, so there's control at the member level for what emails from the system they want to receive. But yes, it could be considered spam. It wouldn't be spam because in your policies and procedures you would cover off that they're opting into all emails from upline, downline, and have the ability to turn them off should they want to. So therefore, you wouldn't ever lose your domain for spamming as long as you put that in your policies and procedures. Okay, let's go to the next link, which is FAQ. This is just a frequently asked questions section that I'm going to then share in a little bit with you, the automated engine that builds this. So you'll start to handle all of your support queries through the system, but this listing is not generated by you just sitting down and entering a bunch of questions and answers. This listing gets generated as you take questions from the field. You can actually modify them and have them end up in this area for everyone to see. So I'll be sharing that with you in just a little bit. It's very, very efficient. The next link down is support. This is where the member would submit a question to support. Okay, so when you're using our system, you do not want to accept emails for support. You will force everyone to use the proper support system. That keeps everybody in the correct queue. Everybody gets their turn in the appropriate turn. More importantly, it allows you to build the FAQ so that your company gets more and more efficient the longer it lives, basically, because more and more questions will be answered automatically in the FAQ. Then once you have a bunch of things in the FAQ, if somebody ever comes and asks you a question that's already in the FAQ, that's where you just turn around and say, I'm sorry, go look at item number 47 in the FAQ. Because if you answer a question that's in the FAQ, you become the path of least resistance. Once you're the path of least resistance, no one will ever go look at your FAQ. They'll just immediately send you the question. If you refuse to answer the question and force them to look at the FAQ anyways, then they go, well, hang on, if I don't look first and it's there, they're just going to tell me to go look, so I might as well go look first. That saves you a lot of time in support. That's pretty much it for distributor maintenance. So let's click on the link that says admin. Now, when it comes to commission plans and handling binaries and unilevels and hybrids, we can pretty much handle anything. It just comes down to how long it takes. In our deluxe system, you have a 60-hour programming allowance. Other than Japanese plans, we've never exceeded 60 hours to program someone's plan. Japanese plans tend to split things up into about 17 different bonus types, and they're really, really crazy. So they tend to take a little bit longer. But your typical North American plans, we don't very often exceed our 60-hour allowance. So pretty much if you can dream it, we can do it. On the sign-up link for a second, I'm not going to go through and do a whole sign-up with you. It's a fairly standard sign-up. Okay, you put in who the sponsor is, you put in what username you want, the email address, the zip code, whether they're a distributor or a customer. You have the ability to backdate or forward date the sign-up. And then you go through to the next screen, and if it's an American address or an Australian address or somewhere we have a database, it'll automatically populate a bunch of the address. You just fill in the difference. Then you go through and you pick the product you want to order for this person, select their payment type, and you're done. You've signed them up and placed an order and put them on auto ship all in one method. To FAQ admin, because this is the actual FAQ system. Okay, so you'll see there's a sample question in here that says, what color is the sun? Okay, well, let's go click on ticket ID 1003, and I'll show you how this FAQ system works. So what you'll see is the ticket number, when it came in, all that information. You'll see the question as the customer typed it. Then you'll see in the orange box, what is the color of the sun? Well, in this case, that's a correct and grammatically correct question, so you wouldn't have to change it. But most of the time when a question comes in from a member, it's very poor grammar, it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, and you need to fix the question to sort of appropriate language. Or maybe it has a whole bunch of other information in it that isn't specifically a question and an answer. So what you would do is you'd put the actual question as you want to show up in the FAQ when you're done in this orange box. Then you have the ability to put a personal greeting into the person, so it populates their name, and then you can go in and, hi, how are you? Long time we haven't talked, whatever personal stuff you want to put in. Then you put the response to their question, specifically the question that you want to add to the FAQ. Okay? Then you put your personal information, sign off, a few keywords, scroll to the very bottom, and then you'll see we have a whole bunch of options. Now, in the beginning, a lot of your questions will be stuff that's good to be in the FAQ. So you'll be putting them in a lot. When you add something to the FAQ automatically like this, you have the ability to add it to the non-members area, the members area, or the admin area. Admin can see all three. Members can see members and non-members. And non-members, of course, can only see non-members. So it segregates it all out, but it keeps everything in one place for you to deal with as admin. You can then set their ticket status to closed and resolved. You can pick which category you would like to add this question and answer to. The categories are also customizable by you. Okay? Then if you look at the right-hand side, you'll see that you can add to the Members Lounge messaging interface. So this means that not only do they get an email, because at the bottom you can see you can send an email, but it'll also put it into their Members Lounge, right first thing they see the next time they log in. And in fact, they won't be able to do anything in their Members Lounge until they acknowledge that they've read this. Okay? And you can also put a note into the distributor notes area. So back before when I said we can put in distributor notes, everything about the system keeps pushing the information back to that central area. So if they phone and ask a question, it's going to get stamped there. If they send in the question through the FAQ system, it's going to get stamped there. So no matter what you do, the information ends up in that one place, and that's what makes your customer support extremely efficient with this system. Let's scroll back to the top, and you'll see there's new, open, approve, unapprove, add new, FAQ, category maintenance. What these are is you can actually start to sift and sort through these where you can only look at the new support questions. You can only look at the ones that are open. We have the ability that you can have a junior support person answer the question. It'll send the email in real time because it's really not a problem if one person gets a wrong answer. But if that wrong answer that's a mistake by a newer person gets posted to the FAQ where all of your members can see it, that's a bit bigger problem. So we actually have the ability that the system will not automatically post things to the FAQ, but rather put them to an approval list where an administrator can make sure that they agree with the question and answer before it goes live to the system. It allows you to have, your newer people doing CSR work not affect the whole group, but only affect the one person they screw up on. So it's a very good way to go. The add new link is simply if you do have in the beginning or at any time you just have a question and answer that you just want to bang, slam right into the system, that's where you would just simply add an FAQ yourself without going through the system and answering a question. You just add the question and the answer. And category maintenance is where you'd actually add or edit categories. Let's say even it goes so far as to where it's been approved and it's now live on the system, but someone else realizes a mistake. Then you just go in and you unapprove it and it disappears. So you can unapprove it, edit it, reapprove it. So yeah, you have complete control over making sure that what's in your FAQ is correct and accurate. And things change, right? Maybe you change your commission plan, so now you have to change some FAQs. So you'll unapprove them, you'll edit them, and then you'll reapprove them to put them back up. The reporting section. Of everything in our software, I would have to say that our reporting section is the weakest part of our offering. However, that being said, we don't actually have a lot of complaints from clients on it because what you really, really need is there. It may not be as flashy and graphical as some other products you might look at on the market, but it's very, very functional. So I won't get into a ton of explanation here. I mean, suffice to say that it's a bunch of reports. You can go look at a list of every every invoice that's ever been done in the system. Most of them are selectable by date range, so you can pull whatever piece of the data out of the system that you want to look at. The sales report purpose is to grab your information on sales for the month to dump out to your accounting software. So all it shows is net sales, CV, tax 1, tax 2, and gross sales. So its really purpose is to just get you the information you need to put into your accounting software. Invoices, sign-ups, if you have COD, product order list. Probably the most important one you'll end up using is the COM period support. The COM period summary report, that's just a report of every single person and how much they earned in each commission period, broken down by each commission type in an exportable CSV that you'll usually use for making sure the comms are correct before you go ahead and publish them to the Members Lounge. So we won't spend a lot of time on reports. Let's click on the admin link again. Translate. Let's click on the translate button just for the heck of it, and I'll just give you a quick overview of how the whole system works. Our system is actually one of the only ones on the market that we know of that is truly, truly multilingual. Okay, like it's multilingual right down to where you can have the whole admin section translated to a different language and operate in an entirely different language. Like this system operates in Japanese, 100%. Okay, and we have Japanese clients. So we've had to go way beyond what a lot of the other software products out there will say they're multilingual, but they're only multilingual on the surface. We're multilingual right down to where when you're done translating everything, you don't see a single word of English anywhere. You know, like Japan's a prime example. As soon as there's one English word, they all panic. No, well, I don't understand because it's an English word. It's like, wait a second, there's one English word on the entire page, and that's enough reason for them to panic and get all concerned. So the system goes right down to every drop down, every note, everything, every error message, every single thing in the system can be translated. Now, you don't buy my software with 100 languages in it. You get this translate engine. This translate engine allows you to assign a translator password to somebody, and they can start translating the site. What you will find is to go in and try to hire a translation company to do the translation for you. Translation companies are very good at doing raw translation, but they're not going to make it sell. And in the multi-level marketing world, you really have to be careful that the person translating it understands the industry to make sure they're translating in a way that will still make people excited in that language. So we've had a lot of experience with people trying to translate by using companies and whatever, and it doesn't work. Usually it's better to get your translation done free by your members. Because usually what happens is, someone will come to you and say, well, I think you should have your site in Spanish. Oh, great. Do you speak Spanish? Yes, I do. Well, fantastic. Then I'll tell you what. How about we get you to assemble a team of people to translate it, and we'll put your name on the website in the Translators Club. So everyone knows that it was your hard work that made the site available in Spanish. And what you'll find is they love it. So you end up getting your whole site put into whatever language you want for free by your members in the appropriate language that will sell in that language. The other thing you can do within the translation portion of the website is every word you see on this system in English, you can change the English. So let's say you don't want to use admin as a word. You want to use something else. Well, go change it. So nothing you see on the system cannot be changed by you. Okay? So it's a very, very changeable system. And again, this is a deluxe version of the system I'm showing you. So let's go back to admin. I won't get into how all the translation works. Just know that with our translation engine, you can change every word of the site into as many languages as you want, text string by text string. Let's go down to system. Now we're going to start getting into some of the muscle of the system. For example, charge invoice. Here's where we deal with money. And I have to say that our system deals with money exceptionally well. Let's click on the unpaid orders link. This goes right to the level of your general ledger. Okay, so this handles all of your sales side of things. So it'll even, all your invoices, you can get all that information out, but you still need your QuickBooks because this does not deal with anything as far as your business expenses and all that kind of stuff. This is only going to deal with your sales. There's an audit trail of everything to do with sales and everything to do with commission payments. But of course, it doesn't deal with money that you sent to your suppliers for products or your phone bills. It doesn't deal with any of that. So you still need accounting software, but you'll just do general ledger entries once a month to copy what was paid in commissions, what came in sales, how much is taxes. You'll just do 5 or 6 general ledger entries from this system to your accounting system every month, and you'll be good. So you don't need to track every individual transaction in your QuickBooks. You just track the totals for the month. So here we can see that there's one order in check, and I'm hoping this section has enough information to see. Let's click on the process link and see what happens. No, it doesn't. But that's okay. We can see in general what goes on here. You'll see that normally we would get a list of everyone who paid by check, and it would have their order number, their username, when they ordered, how much, the account name, if it's been paid, and a reference number. So you can actually then select who's paid. So if you have a list of 20 orders and only 3 of them actually got their checks in, then you'd set those 3 to paid, hit update, and now immediately after going to the status of paid, those orders would end up in the place to be printed. Okay, with our system, nothing is going to get out your door until you say it's paid for. The only way you can get an order out your door before it's paid for is if you decide to ship things COD. Okay? Now, no points will flow up your commission plan either until an order is paid for. So you're never going to lose out on points. You're never going to lose out on product because everything is trapped in the system until money comes in. So it keeps things nice and safe. So you can actually, if you want to use a check payment type, you can. You want to use PayPal, StormPay, any of that kind of stuff, you can, because it's just going to go into a holding cell until you check your PayPal account to see that it was paid. Again, I don't recommend using PayPal because they hate MLM and they'll just take your money anyways. But any of the online things you can do without being integrated. You can do money order, bank draft, international money transfer, all this same method. Obviously, if you have a credit card gateway, that becomes real time. Okay, so let's click back one, orders. Depending on what payment types you turn on, it'll all show up in the unpaid orders. So everyone, you see right now, you see check, one to process, and the process button. If you had credit cards that had been declined, because of course credit cards, we got two ways with credit cards. We can do online credit cards and offline credit cards. So if you have an online credit card gateway, we hook that up so it all happens in real time. But if they're declined, you still have to have a place to go and retry the transaction. So you'd still see credit card here, and that would be where you go to retry the transaction until it's successful, or delete it because you just give up on ever getting the money. We can also do an offline credit card. So say you don't have an online merchant account, but you have a merchant account. We can actually have all the orders come through. They get bumped out to a report here with the credit card number and expiry date and everything you need to process it, and then you just manually process it and say, yes, paid, yes, paid. So the system can handle pretty much everything to do with online or offline methods of operation. Click on printing. Printing is where you would prepare stuff for printing. So what you see in here is you're seeing a whole bunch of orders, and you have the ability to select them to print or not to print. So you would select the orders that you want to print, make sure they have check boxes, and because usually you're printing everything, we pre-select all the check boxes. So any you don't want to print, you'll uncheck, and then you click go, and it'll send them off to the printing engine. The printing engine will generate then for you PDF batches. It'll generate you PDF batches of invoices for printing. Then if you want to archive them, you can. If you just want to print them and get rid of them, that's good enough because the data is all trapped in the system anyways, you can do that. So the PDF batches, you can control how many invoices in each batch. The reason we do that is a new computer today can easily handle 1,000 or 2,000 PDFs in a batch. But an older, slower computer, if you tried to put 1,000 in a batch, it would crash the computer. So we actually give you the ability to say, here's how many orders you're printing, how many do you want in each file, and then it'll actually break it up into different files. Why is this good? Well, when you get big and you've got 50,000 auto ships going out in a day, you can actually break it into 5,000 batch auto ships, and then you could actually send those PDFs to different printers all around your office, cutting down the time it takes to print the orders. So it actually gives you the ability to print through multiple printers. And once they're printed, you then go in and you set the status as shipped. So we're tracking if they've been paid or not, and once they've been paid, they go to printing. Then we track if they're printed or not. Once they're printed, then they go for you to confirm that you shipped it. So we're tracking statuses all the way through so that your batches are always staying properly segregated. If for one reason or the other something can't ship because of a paperwork error, you still have it held at that status. And you can reverse statuses and change things around. So there's very little that can happen in the system that you need our help with because you can control all of the emergencies and mistakes that your support people can possibly make. We also have a delete button. Sometimes people just never get their credit card together, or they were trying to fake you out thinking that your system wasn't good enough to see if they could get a free order out of you. And you just delete the order and it just disappears. Withdrawals. This is where, with our personal account system, you'll actually generate people's money requests. So if someone just goes into their members lounge and says, send me a check for $100, it'll just automatically show up here as checks in the check request as a check request for $100. Then again, when you go to print checks, you just print checks through a PDF engine. You buy Simply Accounting check blanks, 1 check per page, and you'll be able to print directly out of our system directly onto your paychecks. The other thing that happens in our system, remember I told you that people have the ability to decide how they're going to get paid. Well, because every member could set things up different. One guy could say, pay me every month. The next guy could say, look, pay me when I have $1,000. The next guy could say, well, pay me all my money, but leave $500 behind so I can afford to sign someone up with a gift certificate. The first step after running commissions is for you to come here and click on this Generate Auto Payment Requests button. Generate Auto Payment Requests is going to go and check everybody's members lounge for what setting they are and generate the appropriate requests and spit out either a check request, an international money order request, or whatever payment out types you allow within the system. And it's going to generate all those requests, put them onto all the right places. You know, you can pay out by PayPal. You just can't collect money by PayPal. So it'll even generate you the CSV list for a mass pay with PayPal. So you tell the system how you want it to operate, and the system will just do all of that once you click on the Generate Auto Payment Request link. So if you view that, you'll see that username hour a day, Dennis Wilson requested $5,945.33, and after this money comes out of his account, he'll have $50 left. Do you want to approve this check or not? So you can say, yes, approve it, hold, meaning I don't want to approve it yet, but maybe I will later, or no, go away. Then you hit delete, and boom, it will delete this check request and put the money back in his personal account. Now, because it's going to go now and generate a check batch for you, you'll put in the next check number of your check blanks so that when you're done this process, which check number you used will be tracked by this system as well for audit purposes. So you'll know that the check to Dennis Wilson was on your pre-printed check blank 1412. And if you've got 100 checks to print in this report, then you just put in the first check number and it'll know to sequence the check numbers as per your check number sequences. So it's all very easy to reconcile for you at the end of the month in your accounting software. Waybill entry. Here's a place where you can actually, if you have a barcode reader, you can actually scan your FedEx waybill, scan the barcode off our invoice on this page, and it'll actually connect all the order numbers with the waybill numbers, and then automatically put the waybill number into the members lounge as a hot link to the particular website they need to go to track their package. So you can actually create full tracking, package tracking, if you're hooked up to a courier system that allows it, and as long as your courier system gives you something with a barcode. If not, you can use this manually. You can literally go in and hand type in the order number and match it to the waybill number, and it'll populate all this stuff, making the members able to track their own orders, further reducing the number of calls to your support line. See, our system's all about keeping your customer service really efficient. Like right now, we have a company that has 30,000 active distributors. They have a grand total of 4 people working in their office. The system is made to be efficient for your CSRs. Mem transfers under withdrawals. This is showing you all of the people that have requested a member transfer above your set limit. So you can set the system to allow a member transfer to happen. Up to a certain amount of money, it'll happen automatically, but after a certain amount of money, you need admin approval. So maybe for whatever reason, you just don't want people moving around more than $1,000 without you knowing it. So you set the system limit to $1,000, and now anyone who asks for a transfer of more than $1,000 to transfer from, them to their friend or their downline or whatever, it'll have to be approved by admin. So that's what that's for. User maintenance is where you actually set up all of your administrative users. Now, each administrative user can have multiple levels of access to set up your administrative users with. So you could have somebody as just a translator, and all they're going to see is the stuff for translation. You could have someone as a junior support, well, they're going to see the FAQ engine, and that's about it. You could have a senior support, they might see a little bit of the money stuff. Junior admin, senior admin, right up to full access. What we're looking at right now is full access. So there's a whole bunch of different levels of access capability, and within the system, if you don't like the way it's configured, you can actually turn things off and shuffle around who gets to see what within the system. So you have full control over what does full access mean, what does junior translator access mean. Let's go to product maintenance. Now this is a biggie. This is the most advanced shopping cart control software that I have ever seen. It deals with almost everything that normal business needs, as well as all the extra stuff that MLM business needs. What you'll find with a lot of MLM software is they deal nicely with MLM stuff, but if you ever have a normal business idea that you want to mix into your MLM, you're not going to be able to handle it. Because we sell our software to the non-MLM world as well, to cover off both areas. So let's just have a quick look here. You can see we're on the select a category page, which currency. Here's a list of all of the products in this system, and you'll see that you can have an unlimited level of subcategories. But let's just go in and take a look at an actual product. So let's go down to OMSIS Basic Package 1 month. Click the Edit button beside it. Now we're into the actual control and setup of this particular product. So there's a lot of stuff you can do here. We can enable it, we can disable it, or we can delete the item. We can put a title on it, we can put a short description on it. We can control where in the category it shows up. So if we want it to be number 1, we make the sort order number 1. We want it to be the 4th product on the list, we put it at a higher number than whatever the 4th product is. So we can control in what order the products show up in the shopping cart. We can then have a full-blown picture as well as a thumbnail picture. So you can put a super high resolution up as well as your thumbnail. You get a little lower here, we see item code and item description. Here is where you can set up that, let's say you have t-shirts as sales aids. And you've got, of course, small, medium, and large. Well, in our shopping cart, you don't have to make 3 separate entries. You make 1 entry, and then you can just give options of small, medium, or large. So they'll see t-shirt, and beside that a drop down that says small, medium, or large. So you get all inventory control happens at the infinite product level, but the shopping cart is made to not need a separate item for every product. You could do the same with your nutritionals. Say you had a 30 tablet bottle and a 200 tablet bottle. You don't necessarily have to put them in as 2 separate items. You can make them the description and everything for the one, and then they pick which version of the item they want. So that's pretty powerful stuff. Scroll down a little further, you'll see product price. We can track an unlimited number of levels of product prices. So you can add a retail, a distributor, you could have a super gold, you could whatever, as many as you want. You can also do your products in as many currencies as you want. Then you'll see on the product volume. Okay, product volume allows you to set a number of points or BV for every currency. So you don't even have to have the BV consistent worldwide. You know, like if you look at Melaleuca, the BV on different products and the price on different products is different between Japan and the US. Our system can handle that. You can make them the same if you want, or you can make them different. So we're fully multilingual as well as fully multi-currency. Let's scroll down a little bit more and you'll see the area called product properties. This is where you decide where do you want this product to show up within your system. We have an add-on to the site that can be done for a customer-only website with no mention of MLM. And if you wanted the product to show up on that and you had ordered that extra, you'd click the customer button. Prospect is the person who comes to your normal replicated site that is not a member yet. So if someone wants to just be a customer or a prospect, in other words, they want to buy your product at retail and not become a distributor, the prospect area is where it controls that. So you can make this product show up there. You can make it show up in the distributor. We can actually do a short list of your products in the sign-up process. We can force the purchase of a product. So say you have a mandatory sign-up kit. You would just click the mandatory sign-up package and it would force everyone to buy that to become a distributor. Sign-up auto-ship. Again, in the process of signing up, we can have people select what they'd like on auto-ship. And this little button allows you to showcase this product. So say you have 100 products, but you really want to push 5 of them. You would showcase those 5 in both the auto-ship and the sign-up areas so that people see that, and then if they want to see more products, they'd click to go into the shopping cart. So it becomes a very efficient sign-up method. You can choose if you want to charge shipping or not on a product, and if you want to tax it or not. So you have global tax control at the product level, as well as all the tax table control, if you decide to do that. Some companies want to do all taxes as per the U.S. rules. Others want to do mail order. We can set it up both ways. There is a charge if you want to do real taxes because the tax tables cost about $500 a month. We have that. We don't charge you $500 a month. We charge you $100 a month extra, and then you always have the latest tax rules in the United States updated monthly from a service we subscribe to. So if you want to do taxes non-mail order style, you can do that. And you'll see product details. Well, if you happen to have any kind of subscription-based products, we can actually have the system handle for you how long that product is going to be active for. And we can track a whole bunch of other things. If you just click on the description thing, we can track weights, we can track lengths, heights, so we can actually make your shipping formula based upon weights that you program into the system. So there's a lot of functionality that we can hang off of the shopping cart area based upon the things that you need to have happen. We can even track lot numbers. You know, it's become more and more serious that MLM companies selling nutritionals can track back which lot that person purchased the product out of. So you can actually put what the current lot number you're working on into the system, and it'll actually track it and put it on the invoice. If you look down a little lower, you'll see package contents. We can actually create packages. Let's say you want to do a value pack. So you want to have a package of a whole bunch of your products. For inventory control purposes, you want to know what's in that value pack. You want to pick on the fly. Our system can do it both ways. If you fill in all the information of what is contained in the package, it'll put it out on the invoice, so when paperwork goes out to your warehouse, they'll know what to pick, which means you could change your value pack content at any time because you don't have to carry the value packs in boxes on the shelf. They can be picked real time. You can also assign a different point value to the package than the components would be. So if you want to do a value pack concept where you charge them a little less money for a whole bunch of your products, you can also put a lower BV on them but still have normal inventory tracking. The other thing the system can handle is forward auto ships. Say you want to give them the option to buy 12 months of auto ship in advance. We can actually create a package where you purchase 12 months of auto ship in advance, but the points expire monthly. So they pay you and get their product all up front, but the points go through the comp plan every month just like they would for normal auto ship. So there's a lot of functionality in the system. And if you look at the very bottom, you'll see full description. This is where you can put a whole sort of like a brochure page for each and every product that when the client clicks on more information, they see this whole product page. Okay, so let's scroll back up to the top and let's go to product maintenance. In product maintenance, there's a special little hidden section for configuration. You see right by please select a category, there's that little arrow. Here's where you can tell the system what currencies you want to operate in and what default you want to be. So you can set up here what currencies you want and which one's going to be your default. If you go down a little more, you'll see price type maintenance. Here's where you can add more price types. So if you've got retail, distributor, quantum gold, whatever, you can add all these price types here. A little bit lower, once you've entered your price types, you actually have the ability to say, okay, I'm showing the distributor price in the distributor area, but I want to collect taxes on the retail price. A good thing that MLM companies get in trouble for is, I don't want to say tax evasion because that's not really what it is, but the government deems it to be, well, you're selling product wholesale to your members, and then they go out and sell it to their customers retail, but don't charge and remit tax. So then they tend to make you get in trouble over that. Our system actually has the ability that you can charge your members wholesale price, but actually charge them the taxes on retail. Then you, the company, remit all taxes on behalf of everybody, and never can the tax departments come back on you because best case scenario is you paid exactly right. Worst case scenario is you paid them too much tax. So they can never get on you about that problem. So our system has the ability for you to pick what product price levels are going to show in each area. So in the members lounge, you might not want to show the retail. Who cares? But in the prospect area, you might want to show retail and wholesale, so they may decide to become a distributor instead of just a customer. So you can decide which ones show, which ones you charge, and which one you charge taxes on. Now we can go look at credit card blacklist. Credit card blacklist is an important thing because more and more gateways are starting to watch how many times fraudulent cards or problem cards are hitting their gateway from you. Kind of a silent thing that nobody's talking about, but it's starting to happen. So as soon as you have a card that you know is fraudulent because you've been told by your bank or whatever that there's a problem with it, you add it to this list, and our system will no longer even send it to the gateway. So you have the ability to get fraudulent cards to never even ping your gateway, which keeps your merchant account in even better standing. And let's click on Admin. Configuration. Here's where you can control an awful lot about how the system operates. Let's go look first at the System Prefs link. Here's where you can turn AutoShip on and off. So do you have an AutoShip or not? Yes, you do. You can put a default shipping fee. Remember in AutoShip where we had all of those things that you could control, default fees? Here's where you can actually set what the default is. Keeping scrolling down, basically this area is a whole bunch of system configuration stuff like, show birthday allows you to decide whether you want to collect a birthday or not within the system. So if you change this to a 1, it asks them for their birthday during sign up, and it displays birthday in the distributor maintenance area. Third-party credit cards allowed. You can actually decide, do you want to allow a person whose name they signed up with doesn't match the name on their credit card? You don't want to allow it? You don't have to. You put in no, it'll say, sorry, your credit card doesn't match the name on the account. You can't use it. More and more people are not, because more and more that creates chargebacks that you lose, and then you get in trouble with your merchant over. So you have the option to allow it, but nowadays Visa is getting much more strict, and they're cutting people off. The technical rules of almost every merchant gateway is you're not allowed to accept third-party cards. But we also know in MLM a lot of people do. So we've made it a switch. We don't have to argue with you. You want to accept them? Go ahead. You don't want to accept them? No problem. System can do both. Same thing with duplicate cards. So one of the quickest ways to prevent people from signing up multiple accounts, if you don't want them to, turn the ability for a duplicate card to use. And then what will happen is the system will simply refuse to allow someone to sign up with a credit card that's already in the system. Up to you. We don't need to argue about it. You tell the system what you want. Scroll down further. You have control over your phone, email, company address, company name, all of these things that, I mean, if you change your phone number, you change it in one place here, and the entire system and every email and everything that has your phone number on it gets updated. Continue to scroll down. You can set what the default currency is for the system. If you are hooking up to FedEx, our system will actually hook up to FedEx, and all you'd have to do is tell us, so we enable the feature, and then you put in your account number, and our system will automatically talk to your FedEx system, and all the information transfers back and forth, and it all just happens automatic. A little bit further down, you see gift certificate fee. Here's where you can decide how much you want to charge for a gift certificate. You want to charge $1, you want to charge $5. Then every time someone uses a gift certificate within your system, it'll deduct that amount from the amount that they're taking. So invoice logo. If you do have a logo that you've uploaded to the system, you click this button, and now that logo will show up instead of just the text version of your company name and address. PayPal, if you do want to go ahead with PayPal, not recommended if you're a true MLM, but if you're just an affiliate program, it's fine. These are all the settings to make PayPal just work within the system. You can set a minimum dollar amount to allow a sign-up. So if you want to force people, again, not a good idea in North America because it's illegal, but if you want to force people to purchase product in order to sign up, all you do is you put in here how many dollars worth they have to purchase, and it'll refuse any sign up until they've put enough in their cart, giving them an error message telling them that you have to buy at least this much to join. Graphics template directory. If you're going to go in, the system allows you to fully control all of the graphics in the system. If you want that to be enabled, you just enable it here, so then it'll all work. Down at the bottom, you'll see admin daily transfer money in the gray. This is where you set that limit on how much you want to allow members to transfer money to other members before you approve it. And, of course, again, the fee. So you can actually charge the fee. And then you can actually put a fee here for if you want to allow international money transfers as a method to get paid their commissions. Here's where you actually set how much of a service charge you're going to put on for that. And also, what's the minimum amount that you will allow. Obviously, if there's a $50 service charge, you don't want to allow them to do any less than $50. Otherwise, it doesn't work, right? Then you can actually change your domain. Again, that you can change in the system, but we need to be aware so that we can set all the DNS up for you. And And that's really about it in the system preferences area. That gets added to all the time. As we build, we continue to add more stuff that you can configure yourself in there. And let's click on Web Editor. This is where you can add custom pages. So you can add your pages to the replicated website outside the Members Lounge. You can add pages inside the Members Lounge. You can change pages. You can't control anything other than on and off on system pages, except through the translation engine. But you do have the ability to add an unlimited number of pages and links and navigation, which there's a bit of learning to do on it, but we've got some interesting tutorials that teach you how to do it. And then you can actually control the whole look and feel, as well as what content exists where. You can put it so that they have to sign in to see the information, or that it's publicly viewable. Then once you've got the English version, you can very easily create the alternate language versions of the same stuff. Very powerful system here. I won't go through how it all works. Just know that it's here, and know that you'll probably need a little bit of my help when you first go in to play with it. Some of my clients figure it out on their own, but usually a 10-minute tutorial helps you get on your way a lot easier. Let's click on Graphics Editor. Here's where you can control all the graphics. So if you don't want to get into making a completely custom look and feel and having us involved in helping you with it, you can actually download a package of our graphics. So like the top menu bar there, all the little graphics that you're seeing in the look and feel, or the theme of the website, you know, the left-hand buttons, the rollovers, the top graphic. You can download a file that will give you all of those graphics so that you can recreate the exact same size and shape, whatever you want it to look like, upload it, and the whole site will just change. Let's look at the CSS editor. That's cascading style sheet. So you actually, again, have control of the entire cascading style sheet. So we give you the one that's there. You can download it and edit it somewhere else and then upload it here, or you can come right in here and edit it. And again, this just allows you to have control over the entire look and feel of the website at any time you want. You don't need us. That being said, we're a full-service software house, and if you prefer us to do it all for you, we do some additional charging. On the deluxe system, the first time, a lot of that stuff we help you out with for free. But if down the road you want to change it and you don't want to be involved, you can always ask us to do it for you. So we make it available to you, but we don't leave you on your own. Click on the upload link. Here's where you upload audio files, video files, graphic files, or any PDF files that you want to use within the system. Let's take a look at Calendar. Calendar is kind of fun. Here's a place that you as admin can control all of your scheduling of your members. So for example, conference call schedules, training schedules, anything that's important as a corporate event, you put on this calendar, everybody in the Members Lounge sees it. Okay? They can add their own items to the calendar, but they cannot make the corporate items go away. So the calendar can be used by them as a tool, as well as it becomes your central point of information dissemination. So everybody's always aware of what's going on at the company level. You know, and if you have a member that's doing a conference call that wants to make it public to the whole company, they can send it to you. You can put it on the admin calendar. Everybody knows about it. It's a very, very handy tool for keeping your people informed as to what's going on to help them build their businesses. Even if you have lead generation or any other internal type tools that you use that you buy from another company or you refer your members to, the smartest thing you can do is go build a custom page that tells them about it and put the link to the tool guy from within your system. Because that way people will get used to going to that guy's website from within your website. And if you ever change suppliers, they're going to be used to coming through their website to get there. So you'll be able to change suppliers and have all of your people just find the new supplier automatically. So it's very, very handy to keep all your information in the Members Lounge. You can do your training information there. The system comes with a full-blown autoresponder system that you can have training emails going out on a timed basis from the time someone joins. Very, very, very fully functional stuff. Let's go down. Let's look at Email Engine. Here's where you can send an email blast to all your members. Now you can create templates. You can create messages that you're going to send out over and over, and you'll see in the load email section, you're going to see. So this is a twofold thing. This is where you send emails to all members, and this is where you control the content of all system-generated emails. So, for example, the welcome email, when a new member joins, or the sponsor email that goes to the sponsor when a new member joins, you can control all of those. the emails when a credit card declines, all that type of stuff is completely within your control in this area, as well as you can blast out any message you want to your entire database through this area. Okay, very powerful stuff. It works on, you can just type the stuff in, or if you actually scroll down, you'll see that there's a source tab. Source means you could actually go and create the HTML email somewhere else and then just paste it in here. Make sure you've uploaded all of the graphics appropriately, change the graphic stuff, but you don't have to actually use this little editor to do your emails. You can actually do it somewhere else, paste the HTML in, just make sure all your links and stuff are done appropriately, and blast it out, as well as save it as a template. So you might want to make a really nice HTML template so that you can just pull up the template, add your content, send it out anytime you want. Totally possible within the system. Quote editor. The system actually, every time the member logs into their members lounge, they get just a little motivational quote of the day. Now we've got 4,000 or 6,000 of them in the system, but should you have a bunch that you want to add in that are specific to your company, this little engine allows you to add more into the mix of the quotations that they'll see when they log into their members lounge. Sound like fun? Okay, so that is about the end of the tour for the admin section.